A man and a woman have been arrested and charged in Grand Forks County Court, accused of breaking into a storage unit and stealing tens of thousands of dollars worth of crystals. The two are on your screen now, and they're charged with theft, possession over $50,000. Investigators say the items stolen included large quantity of crystals valued at over $150,000. Officers found the crystals and a notebook with descriptions and prices of them in one of the thieves' homes, who later admitted to stealing the crystals, according to court documents.